grandson is in the hospital. They think he might possibly have meningitis. And we need to pray for him. And she said she's doing better. Appreciate your prayers, but she said continue praying for her. And we also have one of our missionaries on the New Mexico side. One of our Native American missionaries had a heart attack, and they've flown him to Phoenix to a hospital here. So if you would, I don't know who he is except the fact he's one of ours and he belongs to God. It doesn't really matter. God needs to work a miracle for him. So let's remember him. Anybody else have a prayer request? Sister Vera.
I have a friend, her grandson's 3 years old, and they found a tumor in his brain. His name's Michael, that God will do a miracle.
Yes, amen. I do want to give this. I believe it was last Sunday. We requested prayer for a lady that the doctors had told her that they had found melanoma cancer in her neck, and they had run a bunch of tests. The lady doesn't know the Lord, but the test results came back Friday. There's no sign of any cancer anywhere. And so, you see, only God can do that. That's not just, people say, that's just like Jesus. No, that is Him. There ain't nobody else can do that. So I just want to share that. Yes.
Me and my husband, we've been praying and taking one day at a time for his heart.
Yes.
And finally, this week, hopefully by the end of this week, he's going to have surgery. And we're going to keep him in prayer.
Yes.
Hallelujah.
Yeah, we'll be praying for him. We'll be praying for him later this morning. God can take care of all of this. You know, there's nothing that God can't do. Also, I got a call from another person that had taken a fall, and they think they possibly broke their foot again, and some other things, so we need to pray for them. Well, let's go before the Lord in prayer. Now, we sang that song. We came this morning to praise the Lord. I don't know what you came to do, but I came to worship God. I came to have a good time in the Lord. And if you're not where you should be with God, I just want you to know something. These altars are always open. And the most important thing to happen in any service is for someone to have their spiritual needs met. And so that's I just want to share that with you. Let's go before the Lord in prayer. Father, we just come before you this morning, God. Father, we give you praise. Father, we give you thanks and glory, God, for all that you've done. Father, we just ask God that you will move in these services. Father, I ask God that you will just cross your life, God. Father, this baby, Father, that has this tumor, God, we just pray, Lord, that God, that you will nurse God, and try us to keep going. Father, we pray for Randy, God, that you will touch him. Father, we pray, God, for Moses Ransom, God. Father, that you speak to his heart, God. Father, that you repent from his heart, Lord, God, missionary, God, to resurrection, Lord God, that you will touch his blood. God, where God, there's nothing that you cannot do, but Father, we know there's nothing
character, isn't it, Brother Warren? Yes, it is. It's about character. It's about portraying Jesus in our lives. Because, you know, there's just something about Jesus. Well,
you're carrying a load that you can't bear, I want you to come. We're going to pray. And we're going to believe God to give you help, deliverance. See, your burdens is not for you to carry. I said, your burdens is not for you to bear. They belong to God. He said, bring me your every care. Lay it in my feet. He says, cast all of your cares upon Him. If you're here this morning and you're not where you should be with God, and you're carrying a load of sin or a load of guilt or a load of shame, I want you to come and we're going to pray, and God is going to help you, and He's going to give you deliverance, and He's going to put a peace in your heart. You say, preacher, if I go down there, someone might think I'm backslid. Who cares what someone thinks? Who cares what someone thinks? It's your burden. It's your heart that's heavy, Sister Jen. It's your burden. It's your care that you're carrying. Who cares what somebody else thinks? But I'm going to promise you this. No one will think anything bad of you if you make your way to this altar. God is here this morning. He's here for a purpose. He's here for a purpose. If you have a need that you're carrying, I want you to come. On my way to church this morning, I was praying to God that our altars be filled with people seeking you. God, let our altars be filled with people with their hearts crying out to you. I'm going to have to sing that one more time. Let me tell you this, you'll never have a friend better than Jesus. I said you'll never have a friend better than Jesus. And I don't care what you've done, He still loves you. And because you're going through a trial does not mean that He doesn't love you. It just means that life and Satan has come knocking on your door is all that means. It has nothing to do with God. He wants you to come and lay it at His feet. If you're here this morning and you feel the need to pray, I want you to come and I want you to make your way to this altar. You need prayer, we want you to come. We're going to pray for you. We don't have to carry these loads. We don't have to carry them. And when we realize that and come to that place to where we don't have to carry them and we no longer want to carry them, we bring them to Jesus and He'll pick them up and He'll take them. Go ahead and sing it. You folks sing it again. And while they're singing it, if you feel your need for something from God, we want you to come. John, let's go ahead. Sweet Spirit, sweep over my soul. Let's lift our hands and let's begin to praise God.
All right, kids may go, Brother Warren. Well, wonderful, wonderful, Jesus is the way. Counselor, Prince of Peace, my God is saving. Saving me, keeping me from sin and shame. Wonderful is my Redeemer, praise His name. Wonderful, wonderful, Jesus is the way. Counselor, Prince of Peace, my God is saving. Saving me, keeping me from sin and shame. Wonderful is my Redeemer, praise His name. Praise Him, praise Him, praise Him in the morning, praise Him in the noontime, praise Him, praise Him, praise Him when the sun goes down. Praise Him, praise Him, praise Him in the morning, praise Him in the noontime, praise Him, praise Him, praise Him when the sun goes down. Praise God.
Okay, ladies, I was going to go to the front, but I'll do it from here. The ladies in the church, we're going to do breakfast on August the 25th at Shady's Restaurant. Now, the only thing that's going to cost you is what you eat at JB's. I've got a ticket invitation. Anybody, it's going to be the 25th at 8 o'clock in the morning at JB's Restaurant. Get a ticket from me. And ticket doesn't cost you a thing. Just come and go and enjoy yourself.
Amen.
All right. Well, aren't you glad for Jesus this morning? I'll tell you what, I got a couple of announcements here. I want to make a couple announcements. Good to have Brother Sister McGarity with us this morning. So good to see him. Have him with us this morning. Okay, young people, listen. The Pentecostal Church of God is now returning to having youth rallies. Well, thank you for a couple of you. I said they're now returning to having youth rallies.
Amen.
October 5th, there'll be a youth rally in Caston Church. Now, it starts at 7 p.m. If you're not going to have a ride, let me know. We'll be here at church, and we'll take you. I'd like to see a good showing from our church in support of our youth department. Now, we didn't give the youth camp came up on us so quick and so fast and so furious that we never really even had a chance to do anything with it. But I would like for all of you that would, all of you young people, or everybody as far as that goes, let's go to this youth rally. It's the first one that I know of in years. And so I'm looking forward to that. And then October 17th and 18th will be our state convention. It'll be Wednesday and Thursday. Now, we'll have service here on Wednesday night. Sister Williams will be preaching and taking that service on Wednesday night, October 17th. But on Thursday night the 18th, I would like for as many of us to go. You see, our church convention, our state conventions has got to be, it's kind of a sad thing, but it's got to where it's all the pastor shows up. You get there and it's all the pastors. I would like for a good showing of the Mountain of Life Church to be there on Thursday night. I know they're starting this thing at 6:30. I don't know why that is, but they are. is at 1055 East Hearn Street, which is 7th Street and Thunderbird. I know it's a little bit ways out there, but I want you to be thinking about it. I'd like to see a good showing of our folk to show up for that state convention this year. And let's let them know the surprise is alive and on the map. And then another thing that we need to talk about real quick is this is the first year that they're actually having a men's retreat.
Wow.
And it's going to be November 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday in Prescott. And they're having it at, what is it, Camp Pine Rock? Anyway, now, they've got so many things going on up there. It's limited to just 75 men. And they're putting this out statewide. So if you want to go, and I would like for you, if it'd all be possible to go, we'll need to let them know because they got a deadline for the deposit of being October 15th. But being statewide with only 75 men, only 75 available beds, it might fill up fast. So the deposit is $70, and then the other $105 is due when we check in. Now, this will be we'll be staying in cabins, not dormitories. And so, if you men would like to go to that, I'm going to go. Let me know as soon as possible so we can go ahead and get our deposits in. And if you don't have the money and you're going to go, it's a non-refundable deposit. But if you don't have the money and you're going to go, then I can go ahead, if I know for sure, we'll write a check to hold the beds. And because I got a feeling with this 75, it's probably going to fill up. The camp speaker, I forgot to write his name down. He's very, very good. And so, again, I'd like a good, if you can make it, I'd like a good showing. Richard, if you can go, I would really like to see you make it as being our well, all of you. But I think it would be good if we could take it and introduce our men's leader of our church to the other preachers and other pastors and churches. And the music is going to be, the worship music this year is going to be done by Brother Henry Chase. He is Talani Lake, or not Talani Lake, he's up Winslow, no, not Winslow. Anyway, he's up on the reservation. I can't think of where he's at. He's one of them we support. And their church is going to be doing the music. And that ought to be really, I'm just looking forward to a good time with the Lord. So, and for many years, everybody said, well, the district is doing this and doing that. Well, the reason why the district is where it is today is lack of participation.
That's right, amen.
Churches just fail to get involved. And I can say that because I've been around here for almost many years. And how many of you know if there's no participation, the interest drops?
That's right.
And when interest drops, things usually just disappear. So anyway, we'll have bulletins up on the back for those things there. But I just wanted to share those with you this morning. I'm excited that we have some leadership in our state that is taking a stand and beginning to move forward to do some things for God.
Amen.
And I'm excited about that. Well, I want to talk to you for just a little bit. We've been talking about, our men's group, and Brother Richard said, well, what better name for our men's group than to be Watchmen, and I began to pray about that and study about that. Well, I'll tell you, we're going to talk a little bit about that this morning. We are watchmen, every one of us.
That's right, amen.
Male or female. And every one of us has a job to do. And our job is to warn the world that Jesus is coming back.
That's right.
Our job is to warn the world that the enemy is on the rise, doing everything he can to destroy who he can. And if we do not rise to the occasion, there'll be many people lost on Judgment Day because we failed to do our job. Now I'm talking about me. I always put myself at the head of that list. But the Bible uses the role of a watchman to describe the work of a prophet among God's people, or a work of a pastor or an evangelist or a lay member. In the work of among people, a watchman was set in position to warn the people of the attack of the enemy. It's time that we begin to let the world know that Satan is real and what they may be falling into. And a lot of times the world doesn't understand all the things that's going on. And they don't always know that it's from Satan. They don't always know that it is to destroy their lives. They don't always understand it. The things that's happening in this world is to destroy their lives and take their life from them and to cause them to fall into a world of continued sin and the destination be hell. So therefore, is our job and our duties. And as I said last week and this week, the opportunity has risen for a couple of different people to minister and share that message that Jesus is coming back, and to share the message that you have to be saved and delivered from sin, to be set free. Working as watchmen, a watchman is set in position to warn the people of the attack of the enemy. Then he has to blow the trumpet to warn the people. It does no good for the church to know that Jesus is coming back. It does the church no good. It does the body of Christ no good to know that Jesus saves and sin kills and that there is a heaven and there is a hell unless the watchmen are blowing the trumpet and sounding the warning. You can go all day long and you can profess and you can tell everybody, I'm a Christian, I'm a Christian, I'm a Christian. But if you do not tell them what that means, to what a true Christian is, and to be, and what it is to be a Christian, and how that they need Jesus, then all you're doing is just expressing a word unto them that they have heard over and over and over. But if the message is not being sent and the trumpet's not being sounded for them to understand, to be a Christian is to be set apart from sin. To be a Christian is to be born by the blood of Jesus Christ into the family of God. To be a Christian is to be Christ-like. And if that message is not being sent, then we're failing those around us.
That's right.
The message of a watchman is God's message to the people. The watchman's message and the penalty to the watchman for not blowing that trumpet. You see, if we don't tell them, we will pay the price. And we're going to start over in Ezekiel, the 3rd chapter, and I would like to encourage our men to read Ezekiel, the 3rd chapter, and also Ezekiel, the 33rd chapter, as we begin to endeavor to organize our men's group. And if we're going to be watchmen, then we need to get out and we need to get our horns polished up. So we need to take some deep breaths and get ready to let the world know that Jesus is coming back. Let the world know that hell is their destination. Do they not accept Jesus? But he said in the 17th verse of the 3rd chapter of Ezekiel, the Son of Man, I have made thee a watchman unto the house of Israel. Therefore, hear the word of my mouth and give them warning from me. When I say unto the wicked, thou shalt surely die, and thou givest him not warning, nor speak it to warn the wicked from his wicked ways, to save his life, the same wicked man shall die in his iniquity, but his blood. This is a pretty powerful statement. I want you to hear this.
Amen.
But his blood man shall die in his iniquity, but his blood will I require at thy hands. You see, being a watchman is more than going to church on Sunday morning.
right, amen.
It's more than professing to be a Christian. It's more than professing to be Baptist. It's more than professing to be Pentecostal Church of God. It's more than professing to be Church of God. It's more than professing the name of the church. To be a watchman is someone that is watching and sharing the gospel of Jesus Christ with others. To be a watchman is someone that has a soul and a compassion for lost souls. Is someone that does not want to see someone fall into danger. Is someone that is out there to protect. And if we're not doing our job and we're letting the world go by and we're letting the world die and go to hell, when we stand before God, He is going to ask us, you had all of those blessings, you shed all those tears, you shouted all of those steps, you cried and you laughed and you did all of these things, but they were all done inside the church. Being a watchman is going outside the church. To be a watchman, yeah, we watch over each other. But to be a watchman, the watchman's job is outside the church. It is out there in a lost and dying world. Out there is where we're supposed to be. Our shouting and our dancing and our crying and our speaking in tongues and all those things that we do in here is nothing more than to fill us and to energize us and to give us what we need and to strengthen us and give us the ability to be a watchman on the outside.
Amen.
Preached a message one time in a church on ministry, and I said, you know, we have our men's ministry and we get together with all the men in the church. And we have our women's ministries and we get together with the men in our church, with the women in our church. And I said, I'm not saying that to be disrespectful, but what I'm saying is this, and then we have our youth ministry here. But everything is done within the confines of the church. It's all seen to be done within the walls of the church. But I said ministry does not start until we step out the doors of the church. Ministry does not really start until we face the world out there. And that's who needs to be ministered to in here. Yeah, we minister with each other, but this again is nothing more than a ground of preparation to prepare us so when we do go out the door that we can minister the gospel, that we can be watchmen, because in here we kind of watch over, but we kind of know who's who, and you know what, we know people are ready to go, and we know they're saved, and so it's great to have fellowship, and that's wonderful. But I'm telling you, He told Ezekiel, He says, I'm calling you, I am placing you as a watchman, and I'm going to give you some instructions, and I want you to understand them, Ezekiel. Now you know this is not just a title of authority.
Amen.
This is not just a badge of just a badge of honor for you to stand and say, I'm honored. Listen, I feel honored that God called me to do what I'm doing. But you know what? That honor means nothing unless I'm sharing with the world the cost of Jesus Christ.
Amen.
So He told him, He said, again, when a righteous man doth turn from the righteousness and commit iniquity, and I lay a stumbling block before him, and he shall die, because thou hast not given him warning, he shall die in his sin. That should take care of the backsliding issue. I was just asked that question this week. They said, I believe in backsliding, but what happens if they die while they're backslid? I said, they go to hell.
That's right. That's right.
I said, so we have to warn them. They said, but God, I said, God's love is with them. God will love them all the way to hell. But he can't change that if that's their decision. But he said in this verse, he said, and let a stumbling block before them, and he shall die because thou hast not given him warning. He shall die in his sin, and his righteousness which he hath done shall not be remembered.
Amen.
That's some powerful speakings right there. Oh, those are powerful words. When you're dealing with someone that is backslid, when you're dealing with someone that has turned their back on God, don't be trying to soft soak it, and don't be trying to make excuses with them, and don't listen to their excuses. They need to understand. They need to be warned. And he was telling Ezekiel, he said, listen, he said, you're going to come across a bunch of backslidden people. You're going to come across some people that's turned their back upon God, and you cannot excuse what they've done, but you must give them the same message that the Satan has come to destroy them, and the message is they must be saved. They must come again. I don't care how much church you attend. I don't care how much Bible you read. I don't care what you do. If your heart is not right with God, all you're doing is going through the motions, and someone needs to let you know that your Bible reading and all of those church attendance things and all your tithes will take you right into hell unless you be warned of salvation and be taught and brought into the kingdom of God.
Amen.
It's to no avail. He said, nevertheless, if thou warn the righteous men, the righteous sin not, and doth not sin, he shall surely live.
Amen.
One of the biggest lies that Satan ever hatched out of hell was make people and give people this false sense of security that I'll ask God on my deathbed. I'll wait until I get ready to die, and then I'll know Jesus. You don't know whether there's going to be, as I said last Sunday, that man was sitting in a Sunday school class in a Nazarene church in Oklahoma City, just sitting there listening to the teacher, and had a heart attack and died right there in class. Just like that. And it was a large church, and there were several medical doctors, and they come and they revived him, but he died just as dead could be. And God gave him another chance. But had he not been ready to meet the Lord, had he not been ready, and had those men not been there, and had not God showed mercy upon him to restore breath into his body, hell would have been his destination.
Amen.
And it's not the preacher's job, it's not just the Sunday school teacher's job, it's not just the youth leader's job, it's not just the worship leader's job, it's every one of us that is born of the blood of Jesus Christ, that are born again into the kingdom of God. It's every one of our responsibilities to be a watchman, to be sharing the gospel of Jesus Christ with whoever we can. He said, and he doth not sin, he shall surely live, because he is born. Also thou hast delivered thy soul. I want you to know something. There's nothing, there's one of the best blessing you'll ever receive in your life, besides the gift of salvation, is that day when you hold that sinner's hand and you tell him about Jesus, and you have warned him of things to come, and you have warned him that if he doesn't get right, he will spend eternity in hell, but if he does, he has a home in heaven. There's nothing greater, Sister Williams, than holding that person by the hand and having them cry out unto God and say, God, forgive me, a sinner. And what does the Bible say? You're going to be rewarded for that. You're going to be blessed for for that. Why? Because you did what you were supposed to do, and you was a watchman about the master's business.
Amen. Praise God.
I was, a few years ago when I was working in the prison, and the maintenance supervisor said, "Hey, come here, let's go." He said, I got some intel about something. He said, "Let's go look at the cameras, and let's go see what, if we can figure out what's going on." So we go into the security room, into the camera room, and we sit down there. And he said, "This supposedly happened at such and such time at night." So while we're strolling through, we see this officer going down the hallway. And the guys were locked down. It was after 9 o'clock count. It was time bedtime, so they were locked down. He's walking down the hallway. So John said, "Let's just see where he's going." Now, if I'm a civilian, he's in there to protect me if the guys in orange decide they want to go on a ride. He's getting paid to warn his fellow officers if something's not right. And he's walking down the hall. And you can see all the way down into the hall. He got all the way down into the hall, takes the key, opens up the chapel, and goes inside the chapel. John said, "That's interesting. Let's just see what time he comes out." 2 hours later, he comes out of the chapel, and he's at the end of the hall, and he's doing this. The watchman had fallen asleep on the job. The watchman had fallen asleep on the job. The catastrophe could have been great, though nothing happened, though nothing did go wrong. The fact is that it could have. The fact of our message is it's going to go wrong. The fact of the message is it's going to be bad. People are going to go to hell. They're going to spend eternity there. And our message is it's not just in case this happens. It's not just in case, but it's a matter of fact. And the church has a job to warn the people.
Amen.
Then we had another one. I don't know how people, personally, I don't know how people goof off in a prison setting. Minimum or otherwise. 17 and a half years, I never let an inmate go behind me. I don't care, Ricky, how nice he was. I don't care how well I thought I knew him. No. When he goes to the door, if there's an inmate there, I step aside and he goes before me. I don't know how people sleep. We had them caught in the dormitory sleeping. One night, and the supervisor come by, "Hey, take a look." I said, "What?" He said, "Look in there." The officer was in his dorm office, with his feet up, sound asleep. How do you do that? And so this one particular night, I had a group of, some people out in the rec yard singing and everything, and there was this one officer, and she was hanging on this inmate, and so one of the other inmates comes home and said, "You need to go talk to somebody." So I go to the people in charge, and I said, "Look, I'm giving you a warning." I was kind of like God was with Ezekiel. You go and tell these people that there's something going to go bad. So I went to the sergeant and I said, "Listen, there's something, you need to keep an eye on that right there, because something is going to come of that. Now you need to watch it." "Well, how did you find out?" "Don't worry about how I found out. Just know that you better let somebody know that they better keep an eye on that." Well, they didn't keep an eye on it. And that night, he didn't pass the word on to the next supervisor. Well, that night, this same officer, she shows up out of her dorm. She's gone somewhere. So then the supervisor, he's looking for her, and he goes, he can't find her, so he goes, and he opens up the barber shop, and guess where she's at? And who she's with. Why? Because they did not heed warning. They did not take, Brother McGarry, what I said with the truth, and this happened right that young lady's life. She went to prison. Now she's a sex offender for the rest of her life. Totally destroyed her life, which possibly could have been helped had somebody heeded the warning that was given them. Are you following what I'm saying? We never know who we're going to save, who we're going to take out of the clutches of Satan when we work and operate as a watchman for God, sharing with others. 92-year-old man that accepted the Lord the other day. All these people that he's going, when he goes to a doctor now, or somebody comes by or whatever, everybody's going, what happened? What happened to Jerry? What happened to Jerry? What do you mean what happened to Jerry? Jerry's happy. Jerry's smiling. Jerry feels, he just feels good all the time now. He got excitement in his voice. What happened? What happened was somebody dared to step out from behind the rock and warn someone that Jesus loved them and they needed to know him. And when that warning was given, he accepted and heeded the call to that warning. And now he's given his heart to the Lord Jesus Christ. And now his life is making an impact on others. His son came down from Washington to stay with him for a week, and his son asked the caregiver, said, what in the world has happened to Dad? So what's going on with Dad? Said, never seen Dad. Said, me and Dad's always got along, but I've never seen Dad happy. I've never seen him laugh. I've never seen him smile. What happened to Dad? And so the caregiver said, well, this is kind of what I did. He goes, well, it wasn't worked. Then the daughter comes down the next week. And she asks the caregiver, what happened to Dad? You see, what happened was because he was warned of his eternity. He accepted the Lord. Now his actions is being a watchman and a warning to others as to what can happen when you heed that call. You don't know. Amen. You don't know. Listen, I hear, I'll get to listen sometimes and I hear Christian people talking, and somebody will upset them. And they'll be talking to a sinner, and that person will upset them, and then they'll go, well, I give that person a piece of my mind, and I just let them have this and have that. And I'm thinking to myself, and how did they walk away feeling about your Christianity? How did they feel about you telling them you were a Christian, and then you talking to them like that? You say, oh, now you're getting into, you're making it personal. It is personal, my friend. It is personal. When we got saved, it became personal with God, and when God called us, He made it personal with us to reach out to others and to share with them about the love of Jesus. And if I cannot tell you the results of you backsliding or the results of you not serving God, if I cannot tell you that, then I'm doing you an injustice. And when I stand before God, He's going to say, what happened? Why did you go to sleep on the job? I only could imagine in my mind what would have happened that night, or what could have happened if those inmates would have decided for whatever reason to go off. And usually when they do it, it's just on a spur of a moment thing. They'll just, next thing you know, they're just burning their mattresses. We never did have that there, but they're just tearing stuff up and they're throwing stuff and they're doing all these things. And Well, the person that was supposed to be overseeing them and warning them to stop what they were doing, as well as to let the good folk know, hey, there's something going on, was asleep. I wonder how many of God's children, if he looked down from heaven today, would say, wow, y'all asleep.
That's right, amen.
Y'all asleep. You're not waking anybody up. You're not warning anybody. And the hand of the Lord was there upon me, and he said unto me, arise, go forth into the plain, and I will there talk with thee. You see, when God has a plan for you, he will tell you what he wants you to do. I said, when God calls you and puts you, he has a plan for you. You say, well, I don't know what his plan is. I said, have you been, if you saved, are you saved, filled with the Holy Ghost? Are you living for God? Well, his plan is this. It is for you to be witnesses into all parts of the world. Our plan is, and his commission is that we go out and to seek and to save those that are lost and bring them into the kingdom of God. Our commission is to warn the world, to warn the sinners that hell is real and they're going there. But it's also to remind the Christians what God has done for us and to let us know that just as sure as hell is coming, so is heaven. So we have just as much to stay ready for as the sinners has to look forward to if they don't know Jesus. That's right. He said, call you a watchman. In the 33rd chapter of Ezekiel, again the word of the Lord came unto me saying, first verse, 33rd chapter of Ezekiel. Again the word of the Lord came unto me saying, Son of man, speak to the children of thy people and say unto them, when I bring the sword upon the land, if the people of the land take a man of their coast and set him for their watchman, if when we see the sword come on the land and he blow the trumpet and warn the people, then whosoever heareth the trumpet, sound of the trumpet, and taketh not warning, if the sword come and take him away, his blood shall be upon their head. What is he saying? They're going right back to that again. If it's not of God, if we're not sharing and we're not doing the call of a watchman, he said, then he who heard the sound of the trumpet and took not the warning of his blood shall be upon him, but he that taketh warning shall deliver his soul. But if the watchman see the sword come and blow not the trumpet. Amen. Destruction is coming to America. It's coming to this world. Destruction is coming. I'm going to tell you something. You know what? I would that we all have to get substance. I would rather see people have to go down. Of course, they don't do it anymore. But have to get commodities to eat and know that their soul was right with God, than to teach them how to be rich and how to have all this world's fame and all this world's possessions and not know Jesus.
That's right, amen.
We spend so... I'm not wishing that on nobody. But I tell you what, when I was a kid, them commodities groceries was pretty stinking good. Mm-hmm. That's the best cheese I ever had in my life. Peanut butter too. That canned meat wasn't bad. My mom could do wonders with it. But you see, we want to teach them how to be rich. We want to teach them how to have all the finer things in life. But if you're not teaching them that all those riches will burn in hell with them, then what profited our message to preach it? What profit do we gain by that? What do they gain by that? Listen, it's okay to have riches. It's okay to be rich. And I guarantee you one thing, if you give your heart to God and you serve God and you pay tithes and you do the things that you should do and you give your portion unto God, God will give you everything that you need. But But I want you to know something. The Bible is not about prosperity. The Bible is not about making you rich. The Bible is not about making you famous. It's not about giving you a title. It's about whether your soul has been covered by the blood of Jesus Christ. It's about escaping hell and going to heaven. It's about living for Jesus Christ. That's what the story is about. And that's where the watchmen of today are dropping the ball.
That's right. Amen.
I'm not slamming nobody. I don't mean to be. But what I'm saying is the message in today's world. Listen, the sword is coming. I said the sword is coming. Evil is coming faster, and every day you hear more and more and more about the things that's coming into this world and the evil that's coming. Listen, it's fixing to get really, really ugly. And I want you to know something. And our only escape is going to be through Jesus Christ. And the world needs to understand that all of these promises and all these things these people are doing, they're not doing it for your good. They're not doing it to make your life better. They're doing it for their self-control. They're doing it so they can take you and treat you like puppets to make you do what they want you to do. They are doing it to take away your freedom and your rights and taking away your decisions to make up your own mind. That's what it is, and that's where it's coming from. And it's time the church stood up and began to proclaim Jesus and begin to warn them that Jesus is coming back and begin to warn them that man is come with an evil mind and an evil heart, and he's coming only to do one thing, and that is to destroy them.
That's right.
I said the sword is coming. It's fixing to fall. We'll tell you, if you're not right with God, your house is not in order, you better really do some serious praying and thinking about getting yourself in order, because I'm telling you just as sure as you're sitting under the sound of my voice today, Jesus is coming back. Hell is real, heaven is real, and they're both out there, and we choose our own destination.
That's right. Amen.
But if the watchmen see the sword come and blow not the trumpet, and the people be not warned, and the sword come and take any person from among them, he is taken away in his iniquity, but his blood, there it goes again. I believe he was serious about this. I believe God was serious about this. I believe this is a matter that he said, but his blood will I require at the watchman's hand. So thou, O Son of Man, I have set thee a watchman unto the house of Israel. Therefore thou shalt hear the word at my mouth and warn them from me. You know what? This is not what I'm telling you this morning is not my words. What I'm telling you this morning is not something I sat down and I dreamed up. It's not something that I wrote a book about. What I'm telling you is straight from the Word of God. Every word in this book was ordained and anointed and ordained to be written by God Himself. And this is where it is. The Bible said, if you know the truth, because the truth will set you free. It's not my words. I didn't make a story up about hell. I didn't make this story up about heaven, but it's real. I didn't make the story up about Jesus coming back. It's in the book. It's real. Friend, I'm telling you, we need to let the world know that this is real and this is where it's coming from. And forget about your other books. I'm going to tell you, they will explain away the blood of Jesus Christ. They will explain away, they will explain a different way to heaven other than through the blood of Jesus Christ. They will let you make and tell you can do all these sort of things and get to heaven, and you can do this and do that. My friend, the only way to heaven is to fall down on your knees and say, God, forgive me of my sins and wash me in the blood of Jesus Christ and make me one of your children. And that very moment and that time He will save you. But I'm going to tell you, if that prayer is not prayed before you take your last breath, my friend, hell is your destination.
That's right. Amen.
Yeah.
That's Lord.
Hell is your destination. I'm young. I can take you down to the mortuaries through this valley today, and I can show you a lot of young
That's right.
laying on them tables in the refrigerated rooms and show you their lifeless bodies because they thought they had plenty of time.
That's right.
I don't need to hear what the preacher has to say. You better hear what the preacher has to say. But I'm going to tell you something. I will tell you this. If you reject what the preacher says, if you reject what grandma says, or what mama says, or daddy says, if you reject the word of Jesus Christ, if you reject it whenever you are told and you refuse it, I guarantee you, when you split hell, you will remember right then and there, oh, wait a minute, I remember a story. But it will just then be a story and a tormenting memory in your mind for as long as you live. Two boys are over here in the park the other night, struck by lightning. They could have both been killed.
That's right.
And had they been killed, and had them two young boys never accepted Jesus as their personal Savior, both of them would have went out into eternity lost without God.
That's right.
You don't know. I got 5 phone calls in this past week to preach 5 funerals. Two of them I couldn't do. One of them they found someone else. One of them I did, and the other one I got for next Friday. And you know the sad part about the one that I'm going to do next Friday? The sad part is this woman knew what it was to know Jesus. As I begin to talk to the family, and I said, you know, I know the aunt that had her call me is a good friend of mine, and used to pastor here in the valley. And the lady calls, and I said, what do you want for service? You don't know what you're dealing with. What I found out was this: I'm not religious. I don't go to church. My mama did years ago, but she hadn't been to church in years. So I really don't know what to say about the religious part. If God has never, if I can't get the sinners to the door, God send me to this mortuary over here in Peoria. They called me 4 times for 4 funerals. I couldn't go do them, but I only could do the one. But you know something? If nothing else, it is an open door for me to stand as a watchman and tell those that are living that there is a Jesus Christ and that He is alive and that there is a heaven and it is real and there is a way for them to get there.
That's right. Amen.
And I thought about that. I thought, wow. I guess the preacher's salvation message in a funeral home is it preaches wherever it goes. It preaches wherever it goes. But I thought, and then I began to think, I know her brother, this lady that passed, I know her brother lost some backslid and away from God. So after I hung up the phone, I said, well, you got to figure out what you want and call me back, or I'll call you back this week. I just closed my eyes and I said, God, lead me to the right words to say that at least one person will hear. I know I preached a funeral in March, and a man sat there and heard me preach the message. And he broke down and began in tears. He was 80 years old. He broke down and began to break down in tears. A few weeks later, he had a stroke. I went to the hospital and he couldn't talk and he was sound asleep. But when I began to pray for him, he woke up just as wide awake and rolled over and looked up at me and tears began to roll down his face. I'm a firm believer in my heart because I was not afraid to share the gospel of Jesus Christ, the plan of salvation, that man is in eternity with his mother. Watchmen. Church, we have a job to do.
That's right.
Wherever it takes us, we have a job to do. There's a lost and dying world out there. Sister Bertha, would you come? Would you musicians come? Yeah. I seen on the news the other night where lightning struck a house over Mesa. And the house became fully engulfed in flames. And a man knocked on the door, nobody answered. And he seen a pair of small shoes sitting on the front door, right, sitting on the porch right by the front door. And he said, I just kicked the door in and I went in. He said, thank God the house was empty. But I said, I thank God for somebody that wasn't afraid to step out and try to save someone from a burning building. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not ashamed to tell you what I got to tell you because I'm going to tell you something. The fire that you're headed to, if you don't know Jesus, is far worse than being burned up in a house fire. I'm telling you, I'm not ashamed. I'm not ashamed of it. I will tell you why. Because if my only child, or one of my grandchildren was going into a burning building, I guarantee you, I would be screaming. I would run with everything that I had to grab them. I want you to know something. If you're on your way to hell today, my soul is running to you. If you're on your way to hell and you don't know Jesus, my heart is running to you today to say, please, please, please don't do that. Turn around, give your heart to God, and make a choice to follow Jesus.
Hallelujah.
This is serious stuff. This is serious. We don't know. Would you stand with me? So you trying to scare me? No. I'm not trying to scare you. I'm telling you the facts. I'm telling you what is true. I'm telling you what the Word of God says.
Yes, Lord, yes, Lord, yes. Oh, Lord Jesus Christ.
Understand? There is a difference when you stand beside the bed of a saint or a Christian. There's a difference when you watch them pass from this life versus standing beside someone who's not saved. What is the difference? I can't explain it. I can't explain it. But I know this. I can see see anyone spend eternity in hell. If you're here, we'll give you just another minute. Don't. I'm going to say this again. Don't be ashamed. Just step out and say, you know what? I've made a mistake. Maybe you've known the Lord. Maybe you've made some mistakes. It's okay. God's there to forgive you. Step out. Let's take that first step. God will give you the strength to take the second one. We've done our best for you this morning. We've given you what God has given me. Richard, we've got a job to do. We've got to reach out to the world. We've got to let them know. We've got to warn the world. We've also got to warn the saints that Jesus is coming back, and it can be any time. We've done our best this morning. If you're here and you need, Ricky, would you come down? If you're here this morning and you need a healing or a touch of your body, we want you to come. We've been praying for Ricky, but we're going to continue to pray. I know the doctor said he has to have a heart surgery, but he comes down to it, he really don't. He really don't. Lady, would you come? If you're here this morning and you need something from God, you need healing, we're going to pray and we're going to believe God. We want to thank you for being here this morning. Be back tonight. Evening service. Come expecting God to do some great things. Just come believing, but be back. Church, Sunday don't stop at the end of service on Sunday morning. It goes all day, all the way up to 6 o'clock. So if you could be back tonight, be here. Tuesday night will be our first. Is it Tuesday night? Tuesday night. 6 o'clock Tuesday night will be our first men's meeting. And we want you to be here. Call your friends and tell them. Listen, guys, we've lagged behind now for about 3.5 years. We've lagged behind the ladies.
That's right.
And we just kind of let them just do it. Come on, you know what I'm saying. If you want something done, call Norma. No. Oh, just kidding. That's kind of the way it's been, okay? Okay, guys, it's our time now to step up and start moving forward. Get our getting organized, praying together, studying together, worshiping together. I'm excited about it. And I know God's going to do some great things. All right. Brother John, living good, would you dismiss us in prayer?
Father, thank you for this day. Thank you for blessing us all. Thank you for blessing us throughout this week, Lord. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.